Welcome to the Jungle Discipleship School podcast. My name is David Small, and I'm going to be your host on this journey today. And I'm coming to you, recording today from the jungle of Burma. And I'm never quite sure if I should give names of places or not and worry about security. And I'm not sure if the Burma Army or other armies are listening to this podcast, but hey, welcome. If they're listening, I just want to welcome them to this show. But anyways, we're in Taudur in a small village, and our team, I'm sitting right next to this little stream, and it's really peaceful, beautiful, and I thought it's a nice little spot to record the podcast. But the boys are practicing the program, and we're going to do a village program here tomorrow. And so, yeah, it's just awesome to be here. And we had such a great week last week, and I'll get into that a little bit more in a minute. But we had our meetings, our first ever kind of team meetings and retreat and getaway. And it was super fun, but also we got some great stuff done, work done. And work is supposed to be fun. We're supposed to enjoy our vocation. We're supposed to enjoy the work we're doing. And there are times where this is a crazy headache to get everything organized and the logistics of it. And but it's supposed to be fun. And I talked about that in the last podcast that, if we're super successful, if I can be successful in this, if I can get everything organized and do a really good job, but I'm a jerk to everybody in the process, then it's not worth it. And there's a quote that Morgan, a friend of mine, a mentor of mine, once said, and it goes something like, "A jerk looks really good in his shiny shoes, but nobody invites him to their pool party." And last week we had a pool party, and we had a lot of fun. And anyways, it was great. I'm going to turn this over to Jala right away here and get him to share the news and just a little update on what's happening in Burma. Jala went away on his phone last night and recorded this and then airdropped it to me. And high tech in the jungle. And hopefully later we can get this all edited and sent out on the Starlink, which is another high-tech piece of amazing equipment that we're just so blessed and thankful to have. And it allows stuff like this to happen even when we're in a place with no connection. And Jala came over to my hammock last night, and he just said, he kind of sighed and said, "Man, there's so much news. There's so much happening." And I've got Sume and KPS with me. You heard them on the podcast last week. And so they're now back in their homeland. And yesterday we arrived here, and we were boating up the river, and suddenly they passed a body. Sorry, this is a little gross, but there was just this dead body floating down the river. And KPS and Sume, I never saw it. I was on the other side of the boat, but KPS and Sume saw it, and both were like, hey, there's a body. And kind of got excited about that. And in those kind of situations, I tend to gauge my reaction off of the ethnics and what our ethnic our ethnic hosts do and how they respond. And the boat driver clearly saw it, and he kind of swerved around it. And the ethnic guys in the boat saw it. And then later, Sume found out that it was a Burma Army soldier that had been killed in a fight up the river, and his body had ended up in the river and was floating down. And the people boating by and the ethnic guys, they could tell that it was a Burma Army soldier based on the clothes that he was wearing, and they could tell right away, and they knew exactly what it was. And that's why everyone just kind of let it float. And it'll either get eaten by fish or float out to the ocean. But it was, I think, I don't want to put words in their mouth, but I just think it was for those two guys, as we're just crossing in, they've just come from Canada, they're returning to their homeland, and one of their really first things they see is this body floating down the river. And it was a reminder to them that, yes, we're here to have fun, and yes, we're here to bless people and do all sorts of stuff, but there is still a war going on. And this is real. This is all happening. And we may be in a peaceful, beautiful, safe little valley right now, but it can all change in a second. And Yeah, so we're just reminded of that. And Jala was reminded of that yesterday as he was preparing the news, and I came over and just said, man, there's just so much. I don't want to make it like 10, 15 minutes long, but he's trying to like edit out and pick things. But he says there's a lot going on in Burma. And so with that being said, I'm going to hand it over to Jala and let him share some of the happenings of what's going on in Burma. Over to you, Jala.
Hello, I'm Jala. I'm from Kachin of Burma. Now I want to share about the Burma news and what has happened in Burma. First, I'm going to talk about the Arakan. The Arakan army drove the last remaining Burma military troops out of the Ponaju townships on four seasons, the last holdout base, and killing two battalion commander and some of troops. Other surrenders. Reinforcements sent from city were attacking and unable to reach Ponaju in the times. Jet spent much for attacking to the destroying the town with the multiple airstrikes. Ponaju is only 30 kilometers from the state. Take of the city on the same peninsular, meaning that it is within a striking distance. Likewise, in Yanbei town, Archive force broke down the last Burma military resistance and took control of the towns on March 7. It is the first town in southern Arakan state to be liberated. Yanbei is the closest town to Zhaoqiu, where Shin has its wine and gas pipelines, terminus, and has planned to build a railroad to China. Gichin Lead Force began attacking three Burma military battalions camped on the hilltop the Mjigong village of the Mansi Township on March 1. Finally, sweeping all their of the under strike battalions 2 days later, when our troops fell, weapon captured, including the Howitzer and cannons. Kachin Army also attacked the Burma military positions in Shugu Township on March 3. The report of the captures of the Burma military base at the Damakan in Pagan Township on March 1 turns out to be premature. The Burma military sent 60 reinforcements on March 2 who began touching the village and continues the next day. The Kachin lead force attacked them on March 5 and killed at least 50 of the 60 reinforcements. Capturing their weapons, the battle for the camp still continues. On March 7, the Kachin army allies and Arakan army together attacked 12 Burma military camps near Laiza along the Michina-Burma road, capturing 4 of them by the end of the day. The next day, another Burma battalions camped in Waimo Township surrendered with about 100 troops and a similar number of the family members, and some of their weapons the Kachin army get it. One of the dead was the leader of the Burma military, ethnic Lisu military. Just then bombed the area all day, killing some civilians. A 500-pound bomb fell inside the China. The Burma military attack around the Laiza, the Free Gichin kept there for months in 2023, but failed to make any headway and instead lost position. And now I want to talk about Godule Karen. The Karen army and its Cobra columns attacked 2 Burma military camps at Tanyao in Duble district on March 7, capturing one of them on March 8th. Fighting continues for the other camps. The Burma military shells and airstrike kill civilians and banned 50 homes in nearby Yadid village. The current control boat O and news roads leading to Miaoji from the Godre, and this is the point where the meet only a few kilometers from the Miaoji cities and the time border. Now I want to talk about Kearney. Better for control of Pazan towns continues since March 1. Kearney force captures the city and Kearney force get the police barracks on the March 5, where they found a number of the dead Burma military troops. The jet have carried out over 20 airstrikes, setting fire to the part of town. The Kearney now control about 90% of the Pazong towns. Kearney Defense Force say that the Dimoso, the state is second cities, is almost free from the Burma military troops now, but the reside still cannot return because the troops left the town full of the landmine for the purpose of the killing and maiming the civilians. Kearney civilians law chorus. Now I want to talk about northern Shanxi. The Burma military is preparing to the violence. The ceasefire it agreed with China. It is supposed to freeze its position while they were in the early February and stop it fighting in northern Shanxi. And the Ang and Gogang army are spotted to do the same. Instead, the Burma military is using the loose to ship in thousands of the riflemen and weapons to Lashu. Clearly in the preparations for an attempt to retake a loss of their territory. Last week, the Burma military importantly declares the military law in three townships that the entirely controlled by the Ang. The Burma military has never in history abandoned by any agreement is ever made, but instead used them to prepare a new attack. Just in Sigar regions, the Burma military continues to destroying a lot of village and a lot of the civilians' house, and they continuously kill the civilians. Just like in our countries, stay fighting a lot, and that's why we need a lot of help. Please help for our country. Please pray for us. Please pray for our people. Please help us. Please continue to pray. Very thank you for your supporting and some of your helping, and very thank you for your praying for Burma. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jala. Yeah, it's always interesting to listen to what's happening, and I always learn a lot from Jala, and yeah, it's pretty crazy. So we're here in Tauder, and I'm with my friend Gana. And if you watched episode 3 of our TV show that came out last week, I'm never really sure if I should call it a TV show, but our episode 3 of our whatever last week, you would have seen Gana featured in that episode. There was a special interview that we did, and then an extended interview is available on our website. And Gana is like just an awesome guy. He met us at the river yesterday. He had organized trucks for us. He's like just a superstar. And Gana and I became friends maybe 4 years ago now. And yeah, it was just interesting to spend time with him last night and to visit with him. And he's going to follow us for the next few days on our next several movements. And yeah, Gnu lost his leg to a Burma Army landmine, and he has, yeah, he's been recovering and he's back to normal, and he's one of the toughest guys I know. And I was thinking about that episode of the TV show, just that for me, I think it's such an important story to tell because, and I hope people don't get offended by this, but I think that, and maybe every generation says this, but I think that the younger generation coming up in Canada and America, and I say this as somebody who's led trainings in the Canadian Army, and that generation that's coming up next is so weak, is such a bunch of wussies. And I look at someone like Gnu, who lost his leg and he was carried out. He didn't get medicine for several hours. And he just, the biggest sadness when he said he looked down and saw his leg was missing. And he said, okay, he just said to himself, like right away in the moment of your leg is gone, he said, okay, never mind that. This has happened to a lot of people. I need to keep fighting. And he was able to get himself out of the fire. The Burma Army was shooting at them when this was all happening. And he was carried out. He got medical care. And really the next day, his leg was properly amputated. And he was able to get some ketamine. And he told me later, when I had the ketamine, it felt like I was flying. And he really was happy when he got the ketamine. But anyways, so he was somebody that lost his leg, has had his attitude was, this is not going to slow me down. This is not going to stop me. And then he, after a few months of recovering where, it wasn't oozing and pussy anymore, I came to visit him, and he had built himself a prosthetic leg out of bamboo. And so he kind of found a bamboo tree that was, 6 or 7 inches in diameter, and cut it the right length and measured it so that he would fit him on his stump. And then he cut out a mosquito net that he had for sleeping under, cut it out and stuffed the bamboo with the mosquito net, and would put this prosthetic on so that he could hobble around. And he wanted to follow his teammates. He wanted to follow his comrades out to the front lines, and he wasn't able to go because he only had one leg. And then he made this bamboo prosthetic and he hobbled himself to the front line. And his commander looked at him in disbelief and was like, what are you doing here? And they said, you can't be here. And I think for Gnu, the harder thing was not losing his leg, but hearing that he couldn't be with his team anymore, that he couldn't be on the front lines and doing his duty anymore. And so he was sent back and recovered and given other jobs. And now he's got a full prosthetic and not a bamboo prosthetic. And he's walking around and driving motorcycles. And actually, I drove him. I was visiting him right after his accident had happened. And he had his bamboo prosthetic. And he asked, hey, will you drive me on the motorcycle up the road? And it was rainy season and the roads are like slick. It's like a slip and slide. And so we crashed, I think 3 or 4 times. And so of course I felt so bad. I crashed the motorcycle onto his already missing leg. And anyways, but he is just so tough. And he says that he's struggled. He's told me at least that he's struggled with emotionally as he's been recovering and finding his way in life. And then he also felt that he wasn't sure that any girls would like him. He was single at the time of his accident, and he wasn't sure that he'd be able to find somebody to marry. And he thought, who would want to marry somebody with a prosthetic leg? And anyways, but he found this really great girl, and they ended up getting married about a year ago, and they got pregnant, and they ended up losing. They had a miscarriage on their first baby. It's quite common here in Burma. So he lost the first baby, and then they're pregnant again now and doing well, healthy. But in the extended interview, on our website, Gunnar talks a little bit about how he's excited to be a father. And it's something that is like, he's just looking at this new challenge and this new task that he's got of, hey, I'm going to be a husband and a father. And yeah, it's pretty important. And he's also working back with his unit again and working full time. And he just inspires me. And the first time that I met Gunnar was probably 4 years ago, and we were doing a recon of the Burma Army camp. It's called Julu camp, and it's not far from here. And Gunnar took us. He was our security on the recon, and I had done recon on that camp maybe a half dozen times before. And so I was letting the team, the students, go and do their recon thing, and I was just kind of sitting back with the security group. And yeah, Gunnar and I just started talking and being friends. And I mentioned this in the TV show, but like, I can't love every single person that I meet in Burma, or every person I meet in Thailand, or every person I meet in around the world. And I can be loving, but I can't actually like love and disciple and really invest in every single person's life. It's just not possible. We don't have the resources like time and money and these kind of things. But we can be loving to all people. But every so often, I just feel like a little nudge from God saying, this is somebody that you should stay in touch with. This is somebody you should just make a special effort with, and you should really try to get to know this person. And I remember really clearly sitting up on the side of the mountain, and the team is doing the recon, and the Burma Army shot a couple mortars, and we were all just kind of chilling back there. And Gunnar and I were just chatting, and I really just felt this little nudge, like, be friends with this guy. And so I've learned to follow that nudge, because I've learned it's so rich. It's so good when you do follow that. And so I followed this nudge, and over the next 4 years, anytime that I was anywhere near this area, I would take a day or 2 days out of whatever my schedule was, and really annoy people by borrowing motorcycles and arranging people to lead me, and like a whole hassle to move me around in Burma. But I would come out and find Gunnar and visit him. And often it was like, he's got no Wi-Fi here. He's got no cell reception. So you can try your best to coordinate some sort of plan, but it's often just like, I'm going to show up and find you somewhere, or hope to find you somewhere. And every time we were able to connect, every time we were able to find each other and have a really just special visit. And the more we would hang out together, the more we got to know each other. And then after probably 2 years, Gunnar had his injury and was wounded, lost his leg. And as soon as I heard, I made my next available time I was in here, came to see him and pray for him and just encourage him. And it's, those little things, like, I don't have a lot of money. I can't offer him a lot of stuff, but I can pray with somebody. I can sit there and hang out with them. I can eat with them and make them laugh, and just like be there and let them know, hey, I'm your friend. You're my friend. I love you. I'm here for you. And so that really was special time with Gunnar right after his injury, and visiting him. And then over the years, watching him recover and meeting up with him a lot. And now, I was just talking with Sume. We were just up visiting the village leader, and I was just kind of amazed at, we're here. I can't believe it. Like, we're really on this mission now, and our team is 22 guys. And last night I just sat around we had a little team meeting, and every guy was introducing themselves, and my heart just felt so full. I just felt like in awe that we're actually here, and that there's 22 guys here with me, following me and helping me. And it's pretty special. It's pretty incredible. And Gunnar was there with us, and he's like making it all happen and organizing all of our logistics and sending our radio messages. And it's pretty awesome. Last week we had our meetings, and this all kind of started with as far as people like joining me or following me, I had to make a decision. Okay, am I going to do this or not do this? And I thought, okay, I'm going to do this. And the first guy that really was following me and with like permission from his leaders to follow me was Titsalin. And um, and so Titsalin and I have been together basically since November. And then Jala joined us shortly after that. And Jala said, and originally Jala was just going to kind of stay for maybe a month and take a break. He had been in the war for a long time. And yeah, he said, okay, I'll come for a little while. But as he had got the kind of the wind of what we were doing and what was happening and what we were building and what the things that Titsalin and I were doing and talking about, then Jala became excited about it and really got on board and said, no, I'm with you guys now. And yeah, that caused some headaches with some people. But anyways, we're working through that. And so then for a long time, it was just me and Jala and Titsalin kind of doing a lot of the organizing and logistics. And then in January, we were joined by other guys. And on our last mission to go find the land, there was Tere and Komitu and Banyo and Jala and me and Titsalin. So there was 6 of us, I think, in total. Oh, and Saoke. Yeah, and I mentioned Saoke on the previous podcast or the episode from the Jungle Discipleship School, just what a blessing it was that he ended up with us. And anyways, so 7 guys then living in my house, plus I already have 2 roommates that are university students that live in my house. And I do not have a big house. And I mentioned several times how my neighbors suddenly wanted to kill me. And then I got wind, okay, this guy's coming and that guy's coming. And every time I would turn around, Jala would tell me another guy's coming. And suddenly there's going to be 20 people or 15 people. And I thought, I can't do this in my house. And so I went on Airbnb and I searched a property or a house somewhere around Chiang Mai that we could rent for a week that wasn't going to be crazy expensive, but everything on Airbnb is expensive. And I found this house that had 6 bedrooms and a swimming pool out the back and this barbecue area in the front and a big yard and a gated off area. So we were pretty secluded and had our own space. And I just felt this little nudge like, yeah, do it. And I thought, oh, this is money that I could probably spend better somewhere else. But I thought we should do it. And I went over on the day we checked in and I picked up the keys to the place. And I thought as soon as I walked in to the house and saw it, I was just like, oh yeah, this was such a good idea. This was such a gift from God to be able to do this. And I hadn't told the boys yet what I'm doing or what the plan was. I just was kind of surprised them and said, hey, we're moving to another location. And so then when the boys started showing up in carloads, they looked at the house and they were running around like, this is my room. I'm going to sleep in here. And oh, look at the pool, jumping in the pool and already cooking on the big stove and everything. And yeah, it was just super awesome and an awesome way to like bless the guys. Anyways, so we had a week of meetings there and it was so good. We would wake up every morning. We had a cooking team each day and we would have breakfast and a little PT. And then around 9, we'd start our meetings. And from 9 until noon, we were talking through the Jungle Discipleship School and what is this all about? And what have you chosen to follow? And what are the rules? And we'd have little breakout sessions where they'd break into small groups and talk about things like, okay, what is going to be the phone policy during class? What is the phone policy on the campus for the students, for the teachers? What is the haircut policy? What is the uniform policy? What is all these, there's a lot of rules kind of stuff. And a lot of those things I never would come up with the right solution to those things. But it was good for them to kind of take ownership of this and say, hey, this is what we want. And then we'd come back and discuss these things and have some debates. And then after lunchtime, we would come back together and we would plan out our programs like, hey, we're going to go into some villages right now here in Taudur and knowing this mission was going to happen. And we would be planning it and say, okay, why are we coming to the village? What do we want to accomplish there? What do we want to be able to do? What do we want to leave with the villagers? And we came up with 3 different programs, a medical program, a village program and a soldier program. And then they started to unpack why we were doing it, what is the end goal of these programs, and then how do we accomplish that? How do we get to the end goal? And so then they started to practice some things, and they came up with these dramas and healthcare stories and spiritual stories and songs and games and activities and some medical lessons and things like that, so that they could come into a village and take a day or a half a day and just bless and educate and build up these villagers and point them to Jesus in the process. And so, yeah, it's pretty awesome. And they're practicing the program right now. And I'm excited to see how this program goes. Our first one will be tomorrow. But one of the discussions that we had there was about the fact that this is a discipleship school. This is a Bible school. This has a spiritual component to it, and that's the main effort is on discipleship. And I have a relationship with all of these guys. Some of them going back 6, 7, 8 years. So I know them. I know their spirituality. I know their religion. I know a lot about them, and I know that some of these guys are Buddhist. I know that some of these guys are animist. I know that some of them are atheist. Some of them are Christian. I know that some of them are here only because they don't want to go back and do their duties. They don't want to go back and maybe they have a job that they're not excited about doing within their own ethnic group, and they're trying to get away from that. And others are here strictly because they're following me. They've been my friends. They've been people I've led over the years, and they've chosen that, hey, they want to see what I'm doing and follow me, and they trust me. And so they're here probably for that reason. And others are here because they want to be a part of a Bible school and learn about God. And so there's this whole spectrum. And so I just wanted to make it really clear. And I said, hey, you can be Buddhist, you can be animist, but when you come to this program, if you want to really be a part of it, you need to come with a willingness and an openness that you are going to give God 10 months of your life to see how he shows up in those 10 months. You're going to come here and you're going to give God this school year, and you're going to participate in the classes, and you're going to read the material. The Bible is going to be the material. You're going to read this material. You're going to do the exercises that are required of you, and you're really going to come with an open heart and an open mind to see if God shows up. And, if after 10 months and you really have applied yourself to the program, if after 10 months you go home and you say, hey, I'm still going to be a Buddhist, okay, that's fine. That's up to you. But if you really want to be a part of the program, you've got to apply yourself to the curriculum that we're going to teach. And I want you to know what this curriculum is going to be about. And so we walked through the curriculum, and it just really amazed me that they were so excited about it. These Buddhist guys, these animist guys, these atheist guys, they said, hey, yes, we want to come. We want to do this program. We want to learn. We're willing to give God 10 months of our lives. We're willing to give this a chance to see, is this real? Is it true? Does God show up? Does God exist? These questions that are, a root of all of us, they're things that we all struggle with. These guys are saying, hey, we're willing to take a chance, and we're willing to give God 10 months to see what happens. And my experience in my life has been, when you give God that opportunity to move in your life, he will show up. He will show up in amazing and beautiful and healing ways. And I can't wait for that. And we need your prayer. We need your prayer for that, to build the school, but we need your prayer for these guys. These guys, there's 22 of them that are here with me on this mission. And some of them will become students of the school. Some of them will not. But these guys need your prayers to come to know Jesus, and that God shows up in their lives in undeniable ways, the same he showed up in my life in a way that I just couldn't deny it. And when I realized, hey, I cannot deny that God is real, I've got to now do something about that. If God is real and I just ignore it, that's not gonna serve me well in the future. And so that's my prayer for these guys, and that's why I was so excited. And one of the things, and I haven't really talked about it much, but all of this stuff is supposed to be fun. We're on a mission. We've got an awesome team. We're building. We went and found land, and it's a huge adventure. All this stuff is a big adventure, and we're learning a lot. But the thing I'm actually most excited for is the curriculum. The thing I'm most excited for is getting into the class and unpacking these resources and these books and the Bible, and really spending time to say, hey, this is who God is. This is who God is to you and who you are to God, and seeing the impact of that. And I just know that this material has changed my life over the past decade, and I know it's going to change the lives of these guys. And so that's what I'm really excited about. And anyways, we're here on mission. We're going to be here for doing about 3 weeks. We really need your prayers for just everything. Coming in yesterday was a total miracle. 20 guys we moved, and we passed 7 checkpoints. Not a single one of them stopped us, and all of these guys are illegal. And then we had one guy coming down from the north, and another guy who just told me, hey, I'll meet you beside the river. And I was like, do we have a better location or a time or anything like that? And as usual, it all worked out, and we're here, and we're happy and healthy and safe, and we're excited to get going. And we're going to Fitzelin's filming everything, so you'll get to see it one day on an episode. But I'm going to just wrap this up. We got a lot going on today, and I'm going to end by sharing a song. And as our week of meetings progressed last week, we started adding some worship songs to the start of every program or every morning's meeting. And first it was in English, and then the boys started finding some Burmese translations, and they just really blessed my heart as they belted out these worship songs in their own language. And it was just so beautiful, really, really beautiful. And so on the last morning together at our house, we had a little worship service, and I put my phone on record and just left it on the shelf on the last song they sang. And the song is called Still by Hillsong Worship. And this is a Burmese translation of it that I'm going to leave you with. And you may not understand the lyrics, but you'll recognize the song. But as it goes on, you'll just hear the boys kind of belting it out. And to me, it just was really beautiful. And you've got these Buddhist and these Arakan guys singing worship songs in their own language, so that they definitely understand the meaning and what they're saying. And I know that these moments and these songs are things that are going to start melting their hearts, and that God's love is going to just start melting their hearts. And as I looked around the room of the group last night, and my heart was just full because of all these guys. They're so talented. They're so awesome. I just felt so blessed. Like, wow, these guys are here with me. It's incredible. But I also know their story. I know, one of these guys has killed Burma Army soldiers with a knife. Another guy here has executed Burma Army soldiers. All of these guys have been hunted. All of these guys have fought Burma Army. And all of these guys have lost loved ones. And I shouldn't laugh about this, but I kind of thought, like, yeah, this would be hard enough with having a house full of 20 guys living in your house. But I've got a house full of 20 guys, and each one of them has PTSD and some sort of trauma, not some sort of trauma, major trauma that they've faced in their lives. And so just to add that little thing to the mix, that, hey, you're not only going to get 20 young guys suddenly moving in that you're meant to disciple, but you're also just throwing their trauma in the mix. And it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be with them. I never would have imagined that this is what God had in store for me a decade ago. And I'm thankful to be here. I'm thankful to be with these guys and sharing in their stories with them. And it's really beautiful. And I'm not sure about future podcast episodes on this mission. We're going to have to kind of see how that goes. But if we can do it, we'll try to get a podcast out to you guys next week from the jungle again, and a little update on the mission and what's going on. Even if it's something short, we'll try to do something. But I'm going to close with a prayer now. And man, I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for everyone who's willing to support. We're still doing our community fundraiser. We're still looking for a group or a church or an organization that's willing to come alongside us and say, hey, we're with you, we support you, we're going to buy you guys a dorm or help you pay for a dorm or a classroom or a cooking house or build toilets or, or pay for a month of food. Like this mission we're on now is going to cost us around 200,000 baht. And let me just do some math here. 200,000 baht. So that's roughly $7,000 Canadian for this to, we got to feed 20 guys plus some security and friends that join us along the way, and all the supplies and the medicine and the trucks and the moving parts like boats and car rentals and motorcycle rentals. And it's $7,000 to be here for these next months to bless these people. And, that money doesn't just grow on trees. It comes from your hard work. It comes from people like you who are willing to say, hey, I want to support this. And I'm really humbled and thankful for that. And so after we finish the mission, we plan to end up back on our school ground. And then we're going to start building stuff. And we're going to build, start with things like trails and a toilet. And then we're going to build a supply house that will eventually become an office where our solar and Starlink will live. And then as we get money, as people are willing to give, we'll build a dorm or a house or a classroom or things like that. And we just have to go step by step. But until somebody is willing to step up and say, hey, we're willing to sponsor this project, then we're going to be in hammocks and we're going to be under tarps and doing school on tarps. And that's okay. But yeah, if you want to see a full list of our needs, you can go to davidsmall.org/support and scroll down, and there you'll see kind of our most urgent and some of the big needs that we have. And if you and your organization or group of friends or church wants to say, hey, let's support one of these things and just pick one of them and pledge to support it, that would just mean the world to us. And I'm super thankful for people who have already come alongside us and are donating monthly and who are willing to just come and be a part of this journey with us and drive supplies and drive illegal people and just bless us with food. And, there's all sorts of things. And I'm just humbled and thankful for all of it. And so I'm just going to pray for you guys and pray for us. And then after my prayer, then I'll transition into this song recording from last week. And I hope you guys have an awesome week. Father, Jesus, Holy Spirit, we just invite you, your presence over this camp that we're in right now and over our team. We invite your Spirit to be working in the lives of each of these guys that are here, in their hurt, in their brokenness, that they've built walls around their hearts and they don't want to feel pain anymore. And only your Spirit, Jesus, can penetrate that, and only your love can penetrate that. And so I just claim your love over our group and over our time here. Bless us, keep us safe, keep our team together, united, and just help us to be friendly and loving with everyone that we meet, and bless the villagers as we go. And Jesus, I just thank you for the people that are supporting us and the people that are paying for all this stuff. And I just am really humbled and thankful for them. And so, Jesus, I just pray a blessing back on them, their marriages, their finances, their homes, that you would just be present in their lives and real and guiding them and leading them in every aspect. And I just thank you, Jesus, for each donor and each prayer warrior that's come alongside us. And I ask for more. I ask you to send out your Spirit, Jesus, to raise up more prayer and intercession for us, to raise up more financial support. I ask these things in your name, Jesus. I ask, Jesus, that you would forgive me of my sins, of my anger. When I get angry or become a jerk, I just ask for forgiveness in that. And corporately as a group, I ask your forgiveness for us as a group. And I just submit to your authority and come back under your authority and your reign and rule of all of our money, all of our financial decisions, all of our logistical decisions. I bring them all back to you. And I just ask your blessing over our time together. And I thank you so much for all that you do and all that you are. And yeah, I just ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.